morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from. My name is Devin Morgan, Director of Youth Baseball at Driveline, founder of the Driveline Academy, and this is the Driveline Academy podcast, the world's most dangerous youth baseball podcast. I am joined, as per usual, by my brother, my partner, my co-host, and my assistant director for the Driveline Academy, Jeremy Tectiel.
Hello.
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't know that we're going to go to hell for doing this, and I guess that's quite an intro.
I believe we just came up with a title for this podcast.
Yes, we probably did. So for those of you that are joining us on a audio-visual platform, you see this array of knuckleheads behind us. If you are joining us on an audio platform, we have probably 2/3 of a team that has been mentioned on this podcast often, which happens to be Jeremy's 14U team, our 14U Black team. Welcome, gentlemen. Pleasure. So I think one of the interesting things that I would like to just get one of you to say something about, and I'm going to direct you a little bit so you don't say anything too goofy, would be, what's the experience like that's been here, of being here for like a long time? Because I think all of you guys have been here for at least 2 years, if not 3. So the first person that wants to say anything about that, you can feel free to find a microphone and say something. Nate went first.
Oh, Mopes.
So grab that.
If you like weight lift for like a week, right? You're not gonna see you're not gonna see any growth.
Correct.
But the fact that we've been here for 2 years, it's kind of cool to start to see growth with like numbers and them actually seeing going up, and then how it like plays out in games, and like seeing your performance like get better as well.
Do you remember your PRs from when you started?
Yeah, it was like 65 ex velo, and then like 170 like
on distance. Sure. What about on the throwing side? Do you remember that?
Throwing like 60.
How much better have you gotten? Do you know?
Hitting, I'm up to 80 now.
Right.
And distance is like 270 something.
So, we talk about this stuff all the time, this idea that like training with data allows you guys to be, the word that I used all the time is incentivized. Do any of you know what incentivized means? Do you know what an incentive means?
No.
So if you got a coupon that said McDonald's is going to give you like $3 off of a Big Mac meal, what are they incentivizing you to do?
Buy the Big Mac.
Right, they want you to come back, right?
MOT.
So like an incentive is something that's going to compel you to take some action. So we think about training with data specifically with young kids because you get to see it kind of the way that you see it almost like in video games. Which one of you, how many of you play MLB The Show?
Me. Always.
Right. So
That question was for the audience. We know the answer to that question.
I know the answer to that. So think about it like the way that you start with your created player. He's kind of trash when he starts, right? It's not as bad as in NBA 2K, but in MLB The Show, he's kind of trash when he starts, right? You build up his stats. The reason we want you guys to train with data that way is for exactly that, is to kind of connect, yes, because when you see yourself getting better, what does that make you want to do? What are we incentivizing you to do?
To get better, to play harder, play more.
Speaking to the mic.
To come back and play harder, and to make you want to play harder because you show how good you could actually get.
Right. Consistency kills. And you guys, I think one of the reasons you guys have kind of developed as a group so well is because you have been a pretty good job. I don't want to give you all the props, but you've done a decently good job about being consistent with training. And like, that's how we turn that wheel. Who wants to volunteer a goal for where they want to get to next year? Go ahead.
My goal is to hit 80 on the bump.
80 on the bump. Okay.
I'm shocked you chose a pitching goal and not a hitting goal.
Oh, yeah. For hitting, I want to hit 310.
310's the distance?
Or at least 320. 310, 320 area.
How are you going to get to that distance?
Lift heavy.
And?
Practice hitting more.
But also, we don't want to hit the ball softer. We want to hit the ball
hard. Hit the
hum,
ball hard.
babe. I'm just trying to walk you up to the gates so you can get it.
T, what about you? Speaking to a mic.
85 on the bump.
That's a big goal.
Yeah.
That's a big goal.
Yeah. Goals are meant to be set high, though.
Babe. Do you guys know Josh on our 15? Or
Yeah.
I guess Josh
No,
is up
yeah.
for 16.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about that.
Yeah. When Josh came to us last year, he was 72, 73, but was a little dinged up because he had gotten overused. And now he just popped 86 off the bump.
87 in a high school game.
Yeah. So it's possible. So when we did our off-season stuff, we set goals, right? For all of you. Who set an impossible to reach goal? Anybody?
Yeah, no, we all know who it is. Step up to the mic, come on.
I mean, I remember the answer, but I'm trying to give you your screen time that you so desperately wanted.
It was like 90 miles per hour. It was like 90 miles per hour.
You're shooting for a 90-mile-an-hour exit velo, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember what your PR was like at the tail end of last year, where you were sitting at that point?
It was like 81, 82.
Right. So we were looking for like a 9-mile-an-hour increase in the off season.
Yeah.
I'm not putting you on the spot a ton, but I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little. Colby, the young man to my second left here, very consistent with attendance. I would say pretty consistent with effort. You screw around about as much as all of you, but like you're pretty on it. So when you didn't hit that goal, I guess what did you want to do anything different because you didn't hit the goal?
Work harder. All you gotta do is work harder.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Who else has got a PR from last year that they beat? I mean, I know all of you guys did, but like, tell me a cool one that was like good. Jacob, go ahead.
I went up like 90 distance for hitting.
90 feet?
Yeah. Yes.
The road to hell. Let me ask you guys a different question, not PR related. One of the things that we think is that there's a lot of value in being able to bundle training and team play because we're consistent, right? I just was in the car for an hour and a half with one of your old teammates, actually, Max, who is a freshman this year, so he's up at 15, and told me a lot about his JV experience. I'm curious, where do you guys want to be when like that high school tryout comes? And we can talk about it in terms of PRs. We can talk about it just like as a ball player. Like where are you trying to be?
At the start of the year, I want to be up to 82. I feel like that gives me a pretty good shot at like starting multiple games and being a pretty good player on the JV and possibly varsity team.
Sure. Does anybody have a goal for like where they're trying to get to by the start of high school baseball that isn't like number related? Like the way that you approach a game, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you respond to failure. Anybody got anything? Go ahead, Jacob.
When failure happens, just keep your head up because it's baseball and slumps happen. And just like don't get too mad at yourself.
So have you had coaches in the past that made that hard to do?
No, this was my first academy ever playing.
Okay. All right.
We have someone who wants to.
Oh, yeah.
Jump in there.
So I've been playing select since 9U,
Mhm.
and 9U it was fun, and then 10U I had a coach who would like yell at kids until they cried, and was very harsh, and he did teach good lessons too. But and I was someone who didn't cry, and so I got like more of it, and so that made me like take a big step back from like baseball, and I didn't play 12U year, I didn't play 12U year.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID partially, but I quit 11 just because I wasn't having fun with it.
Yeah, sure.
And so like while that like sucks going through that as like a 10-year-old, I definitely like learned stuff from it, and it won't be as easy to happen again to me.
So, do you guys have kids that you grew up with playing ball that don't play anymore? Do you know people? How many of those kids do you think that stop playing are because of stuff like that? And I'm not asking like I know the answer. I'm asking because I'm actually curious.
Probably like 2.
2 of how many?
Or just coach for
Like,
the other team when
yeah.
I played Little League, and he would just scream at them. Probably like 3 out of like 7, because not all of them played select, but I think 3 of them quit or something like that.
Okay. So like three out of the 7.
Yeah.
Tight.
Do you
Great job.
guys have kids that you remember playing Little League with that you have played against more recently? That they were like really good in Little League, like that they were a dude in the league, and now like you are much better than they are? Yeah? You can all think of people like
Yeah.
that? Pretty cool.
Here's like another like a little more general question that's not so much individual. When we have to do tournaments and we are looking at potentially like a doubleheader Saturday and maybe up to 3 games on Sunday, when you guys get done with those games on like a Monday, like how does the body feel?
Sore.
My catcher.
Sore, very.
Like sore all over sore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like my legs and yeah.
How would you feel if we did that not like once every other weekend or maybe once a month, but like every single weekend?
Yeah. I don't know. That would be bad.
So after this past week, we had 5 games in 6 days, right? How'd you guys feel at practice Tuesday?
Sore.
Sore?
Fucking arm was dead.
You felt good?
Yeah, because I recovered.
That's not what you told me.
Hey, I did. I just
Mine
a
was
little
fine.
sore, but not as sore as
You were kind of burnt out.
Yeah.
You were a little
It's
like
also-
it was more mentally than
I wasn't.
physically.
I wasn't really sore. It was more so just like being in the sun for like
Yeah.
really.
Even
long.
my-
You
it
were
was
mentally burnt out
Like
from
last
the
game,
week.
our last game on like that Sunday, everyone was kind of already.
Yep.
starting to
Yep.
Yeah.
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 We had a real light practice on Tuesday. Could you imagine if we had to play tournaments every weekend?
You,
How those Tuesday
you
practices
couldn't
would go?
recover.
It'd be fun.
No.
Yeah.
I like playing games.
You
All
wanna say
right.
that louder into the mic.
I would die.
Thank you, Braid. So we have 3 minutes left before you guys have to go start practice. So I've intentionally kept the window for this short. And I'm not even sure we're going to include this because I don't know how these answers are going to go. But if you guys could change one thing differently about our program, what would you change it? And I want you to answer that with full knowledge that like Jeremy and I actually really care about this stuff.
And
like, and if it
also
was-
with that, what's your favorite thing
yeah,
about the program? And then if there's one thing you could change, what would it be?
yeah. You got anything?
Nothing.
You haven't talked once this
I got one.
podcast.
I got
To talk. Yeah,
Why don't you need to talk? All the fans want to.
I don't have anything to say though.
Yeah, tell
I'm
your
not
joke.
telling my
Tell
joke.
the joke.
Let's- don't-
Tell your joke. Tell your joke. We all want to hear the joke.
Say it.
I have an actual answer.
You have been here the longest. Do you want to say anything about what you enjoy the most?
No.
Okay, say something.
I didn't raise a public speaker, guys. Okay,
I want to say something.
good.
Um,
One thing I don't like is sometimes we goof off a lot, and it shows in the games, and we don't really work on fielding as much. So in the games, it feels like we make a lot of errors and get down on ourselves, and it affects our hitting. And sometimes it'd be better if we had like some outside practices and fielding.
Okay.
I would say my favorite part about Driveline is being able to see the numbers. So
I
like
agree.
you always have like a hit tracks, and so like you can see your growth.
Mhm.
Or like throwing, you can see how fast you're throwing, and just it's not just like oh what did I get, like that might have been a PR, but yeah, I just like that. Yeah, we always have something to look at to track if we're getting better. That's what I would say is my favorite. And I feel like maybe we could have like a little more coaching like in the cages, because like sometimes like we're taking like swings and like they're just like teaching you bad habits. So maybe if we could have like a little more coaching involved, then we could get like yeah.
And I think he's not saying like coaches teach bad. It's just he's
Yeah.
saying by having no one coach him when he's sitting, sometimes
Yeah.
he can go.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? 7 on the dot. We got time for one more. Anybody?
My favorite part is ringing the PR bell.
Oh, okay. Braid, so to tell the audience, the internet, what does the PR bell signify?
Okay, so like in the cages, we have this bell on the side, and like, say if you hit like an exit velo PR, you go over there after your round and you ring it as hard as you can.
Yeah. And that's how the PR bill gets broken, and then we put it back together.
You want a PR bill for pitching?
Actually,
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
I should check.
I remember 12U. We had like that little bell.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like
The
it was
doorman?
Really,
Yeah.
it was really lame. And then, and then we got the big bell. And
The
then
big bill.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah. All right. So it's time for you guys to go practice.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys. We love the hell out of you. Yeah.
Tell your joke.
That-
Tell your joke.
You're the only one that hasn't talked at all.
There you go.
Come on.
Say it.
Two.
All right.
Can't be like that antisocial one. You gotta say something.
We'll tell the joke. We'll tell the joke on the other time. Thank you guys. We'll catch you later. Player podcast round 2.
Round 2.
Round 2. We are joined by 3 of our guys from our 13U Orange team, who just finished print training. So I'll ask you guys. I think this is the first thing that I asked our other group. Maybe it wasn't the first thing, but either way, do you guys remember what your first PRs were in the first month of the facility?
I remember mine.
What was it?
So me from joining Driveline just this year.
Yeah.
I remember hitting like 152 for distance and like 61 exit velo.
Yep. And where are we now?
Like 223 distance and 71 exit velo.
Do you like hitting balls harder and farther?
Yes. Of
Is it
course.
fun?
Yeah, of course.
What's your favorite part about hitting balls harder and farther? Buster.
That I get to hit Jeremy's car sometimes. Yeah. So, that's pretty cool.
Is there an abbreviated version of the story we can tell?
Or
is that just it?
that's the story.
That's the story.
He crushed a ball and hit the roof of my car, and I still have a dent. So he is now Buster because he busted my car.
Yeah, that's good. Good
And
problem.
I'm not removing the dent because I'm proud. I'm
Good.
proud that dent is there.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Because that dent is not. What'd you say? It was 170 when you started, or 150?
Yeah, 150.
Yeah, that dent was much farther than 150.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ooh.
If it was like a 45-foot ball that dented my car, I wouldn't be happy. But
Yeah, you can't keep.
Yeah.
That's not measured. Yeah, we don't care about that. Tell me what it's like to be able to train with data, and I'm curious what that's like compared to when you're just working with your mom or your dad or a sister or a brother, or like in the old Little League days. What's it like when you get to train with data?
It's different. You get to see how stat wise how much you grow
Mm-hmm.
and how much you improved.
When you guys are throwing and we have the radar guns on the wall, when it's not like a high intent day and it's kind of like a recovery day, do you use the numbers on the radar guns to kind of know hey, I need to maybe rein it in a little bit?
I think if you find that sweet spot with your arm where you feel like you're throwing the right percent, then you should just try to hit that spot every single time.
Okay. And are you able to confirm what that percentage is by kind of looking at the number and going okay, so it felt like this, the pivot pick was supposed to be 60%, right?
Well, yeah, and since for training for months now, it's kind of more easier to predict how hard you need to throw.
Sure.
To be there after every single time.
Sure. Absolutely. How's the season going for you guys so far?
It's going good. We've had some tough games, but we always persevere and get through it.
That's gas.
5-13 right now. We had some tough losses, but Coach Kyle was just talking about how we're playing the top team in a pool, and they've only given up 10 runs this season, and 4 of those runs came from us. So that's good, and we're ready to get a W on Saturday.
Babe. Let's go.
and one of those losses doesn't count because the ball rolled under the fence and it should have been a walk off.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was there.
Yeah, I know that.
When I was a kid, I played on that field
Yeah, that's what Dad,
50 years
my
ago.
dad was telling me
Can
how.
you believe they had fields back when Devin
Yeah,
was
it
a
just
kid?
it wasn't like a grass pasture
With
with
the same
cows.
lot.
Yeah.
My dad was telling me how you told him that when you were playing Little League, one of the kids hit the side of the building out there.
So Colin Waller, Colin, if you're watching, Colin Waller, I played with this kid. So I was it was either 13, 14 playing with some high school age kids, 15 and 16s. And Colin was one of the older kids on the team. Rachel, his sister, was in my high school graduating class. Rachel, how are you? And
They're not watching.
I know.
Okay.
Rachel, well, I mean, the internet lives
Yeah,
forever,
it's
right?
true,
So
it's true.
there
They
could
could
have
see
been
this at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
And Colin hit a ball off the rec center, that wall is like where our basketball court was. We always used to play basketball in that. So at the elementary field, there's like a, what was the MLB team that had like the slope in center field?
The Astros.
That was the Astros. Yeah. So it's like that, but it actually goes up like 10 feet. And he hit the base of the wall, but still hit the wall. I mean, it was a legit, I don't know, 350, 360. Like it was ridiculous. My jaw dropped. So yeah, it's the only time I've ever seen anybody hit something off that wall. It was far. I don't even think it was a game. I think it was practice. I don't know. It was like 50 years ago. Field was all cows.
Different bats.
pasture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different fact.
Yeah, I don't think we had beezers. What did we even what did we? I don't even know.
Wooden sticks.
Yeah, basically.
Sticks and
It's like an
stones.
old like tie rod from
Yeah.
a train track.
Yeah.
I'm not that old. I mean, I'm close, but I'm not that old. Other than, I actually have a question for you. So you guys are getting started in the weight room,
Yeah.
right? Like actually getting under a barbell.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Or is it challenging at this point and you don't like it? And it's okay to say either.
Okay, I think it's good because we've been using the dumbbells for the bench press,
Mhm.
so I think that's really helped us like get in the right mindset and like the right form to do it
Sure.
correctly.
Yes.
So I think that's definitely made it a lot easier.
That's gas. When we do like the games, like not the weightlifting, but like the actual like the games, which one's your favorite? What do you like? Do you like med
the-
ball volleyball? Do you like the jumping on the trampoline, dunking the tennis ball one? Like what do you like?
Spin the
Uh,
bottle.
Oh, the spin the bottle one? Yeah.
One time we played that with our team when we just were all here for the facility.
Yeah.
It was just us in the facility. No one else. I think Dylan was the only other one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I personally like netball volleyball because
That's fun.
it's a sense of fun, but you also are getting some strength into it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Med ball volleyball is a good one. We like that one. What are your goals for not this year but next year? Because next year, are you guys are all 7th graders, right?
7th and 8th.
Oh,
grade,
okay. So
early.
next year, what happens next year?
but, well,
Yeah, are you worried about it?
Ish.
Let's hear it, Hideaki.
Yes, kind of.
The good news. In your face. The good news is you got time, right? You got time.
2 months.
Well, right, but high school baseball tryouts don't start until February.
Okay.
So we got a lot of time.
Yeah, we can't make high school less scary for you.
I mean, I wish I could.
We can make high school baseball less scary. We can't make high school less scary.
Yeah. I wish I could.
give Jeremy a call in the middle of class.
Yo, what's the answer to 15?
I'll come.
He is a trivia guy.
Yeah,
He
I will show up.
Probably got that on deck. I was watching Jeopardy Masters last night and answered like 2 questions correctly.
It's hard.
It's super.
It is hard.
It's
I'm normally like 60, 70%. I'm like 25% Jeopardy Masters.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Yeah, and shout out to my wife. There was a question about I don't know, something that she shouted out the answer, and I was like, that's definitely not right. Yeah, she was right.
Yeah.
I'm a dummy. So what type of goals do you guys have for like the next year? Like based on where you are right now, where do you want to get to? And we can talk about that just in terms of like numbers or like as a ball player where you want to get to.
Last year, our team struggled a lot. We went 1-24. This year, as of right now, we're 5-13.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, our goal is to be a lot better. Come in and try to win a championship, and that's everyone's goal.
Okay.
And it's mostly outside of Buster. The same squad,
Yeah.
right?
So we're just at the start of the year, and you guys have already won
Big
way
difference.
more games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the season, but
Yeah.
Callan and Buster over here are the only new pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But same squad, and it's unbelievable that we've won already 4 more games than all of last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I was looking at like stats, and like it was the month of June and July last year, we scored like 37 runs.
Mhm.
In the month of March, we scored 37 runs this season. So it's
That's-
crazy.
That's tight, and that's tight that you know that.
Oh, I'm a stat guy.
Let's go.
It's me and James are the stat guys of the team. Corbin asked Kyle, how much am what's my batting average? And he's like, I don't know. Ask James and Jackson. They know everything.
Yeah.
Except James traded Shohei Ohtani in your fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is true. And,
Oh.
and me and Corbin were all at it.
I had a better
and
offer,
no,
honestly.
I had a better offer because I ended up getting him, and now James somehow got kicked out of fantasy. So lucky me, I got him at the right time, and James.
Because even if you wanted to trade him to you right now, he doesn't know how to log back into his fantasy. So
Well, James dropped two of the players I traded for, so I just picked them up again. Corbin was such a sweetheart over here, and he dropped Matt Chapman when I traded Gunnar Henderson in that trade, so I didn't have a third baseman. And he drops Matt Chapman.
Just
I'm
drops
like-
an all-star for you. What a guy. What
I
a
pick
friend.
him up and
I
I'm
had
like,
third basements for
I'm like,
days.
you're such a sweetheart.
I think my goal would just be to help the team get better in any way that I can.
Sure.
So if that means hitting the ball and play more,
Mhm.
or just getting on base,
Mhm.
I think I just want to help the team win games.
I dig that. I dig that.
what was your experience like? So we've got a little different here, right? Like you've been here for a couple years. You came here last year, so this is year 2, and you're a newbie. What was your experience like before playing baseball? Before you came to Driveline?
Well, Little League. Before I came in, I just came off winning a championship for Little League, and I struggled a lot. I mean, my batting average was like 0.83, something like that. I was struggling at the plate. But I was a great defender, but I struggled at the plate, and I come back the next season last year for the Little League, and I led my team in batting average, home runs, RBIs, hits, stolen bases, almost everything. And I'm like, wow.
That's balling out, dude.
Well, the Driveline stuff works, huh?
Yeah, it really works. I'm like, I'm trying my best to get my friends to come out and join the team from
My pleasure.
because no one likes
My pleasure.
here. We're all about Driveline.
Yeah, we'll bleep that one out. We'll just bleep out the name of the organization. What about you, Hideaki?
Yeah.
Closer to the mic. Closer to the mic.
I mean, like, before coming to Driveline, I mean, like, I, like, joined, like,
You don't need to
my
say the
local,
team.
like, Little League.
Sure.
I think it was because, like, one of my friends was playing, and I thought, you know what, I recently quit Kendo, which was, like, a Japanese, like, sword fighting thing.
Yeah, dude, let's go.
And then, like, I was like, okay, I don't have a sport to do. I want to play, like, a sport. So my friend was playing baseball, and I just said, like, just go and play baseball.
So you'd never played baseball, right? Before?
Oh.
Yeah.
Just went in for fun.
He hit some nukes.
He does.
He does.
He does.
This is true.
He does. I don't really have anything else. I would just say that like Jeremy and I know Coach Kyle has probably told you this. We're just like super proud of you guys. I think the reality is of like Hideaki like starting in select ball at 12, right? Because you started last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes that can be a really challenging point to start in, right? And I think the other thing sometimes is just like overall, you're going to see some stuff at like 12U and 13U that you're probably not going to see in high school, and you're probably not going to see in college. The game is a little bit different. And I think part of our belief is that like what we want to orient for is like the long-term goal, instead of like some of the stuff that maybe might win us another game or two along the way, but doesn't move you towards the thing that is going to mean more later. And like that thing about scoring runs, right? 37 runs in a month is very different than what you guys did last year, and we think is because of kind of how we orient the
Well,
goals.
that 37 runs was only 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
in
you
on
buried
that.
the lead on that one. We only played 2 games in March that you scored 37 runs in.
Yeah, that's tight. That's tight. Yeah, we're just proud as heck of you guys. And like what we really want to do is open up the door for you guys to have a ton of fun playing 90-foot baseball, which is going to come next year. The field is going to get a little bit bigger, right? But it's the last time that change happens. And we want to make sure you have what we call the skills at scale into that 90-foot environment. And hopefully we have a lot of fun along the way. You like the team? You got a good group of guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Quinn was going to be here. We need to yell. We're going to yell at Quinn.
We have to yell at
wasn't
Quinn.
here. Yeah.
Quinn's been bugging me to be on the podcast for what, at least a month now. The two of you have been
Yeah,
bugging me,
one
and he missed
opportunity.
he missed the opportunity.
I will say something to Quinn, and I'll have to look up to him.
This is true.
The kid's going to be like 6'7" or something.
Oh, I always wanted to go on it because I heard Jeremy talking about John Smoltz and stuff.
Sure.
I'm
What
like,
do you guys think of John Smoltz? Do you guys watch baseball on TV?
Yeah, he was a good pitcher, but not the best commentator. I mean,
I didn't pay him to say that. Just want to be clear here.
I would say him and Joe Buck, but not the best.
So when you guys, do you guys have all have cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you guys look for baseball highlights, where do you go? Do you just go to Instagram and YouTube, or what? Do you,
YouTube. Yeah.
and do you even go to like the MLB accounts, or you just go to somebody that like does like the highlight clip
John
packages?
Boy.
Yeah, just look up like MLB home lenses. A lot of times I just watch what they do, like how they load, because that's a problem I've been having recently. Is
Okay.
I've been loading a lot,
Okay.
and so recently it's actually really helped my swing because I've been loading a lot more and getting a lot more hits. And
That's tight. Who's your favorite hitter to watch?
My favorite hitter would probably be I've been watching Julio Rodriguez a lot recently.
He's pretty good at
Because-
sports.
He actually took a lot from his swing and how he loaded,
Mhm.
and it's like actually really benefited me. So
That's tight. You guys, who else has got a favorite MLB got to watch?
I like Ken Griffey Jr. was what I did, but Kyle says no. I want you to be like Evan Longoria stance and like load how he does. So I've
Okay.
been watching a lot of Evan Longoria and like how his stance is and loading and how
Mhm.
he connects.
That's tight. That's tight. Idiaki, go ahead.
I really haven't been watching anything. I've been just winging it.
Okay.
What works is working.
I'm in on that too.
I like to watch like other players instead of just like going online. I'm just like, okay, he's doing this, he's hitting harder. I'm gonna try and do what he does.
Like
you're
teammates.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teammates,
Okay.
like just people, other people hitting too.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. Mr. got gunned out at home plate.
Yeah,
we're
true.
gonna talk it was a nuke. It was like 280. So I don't even.
Oh, don't even bring up against Colts. Ugh.
What do you mean?
And
I didn't-
when he was safe both times and you got underneath the tag. He
I have
sent-
photographic evidence.
Yes,
of
he
game
sends me
two.
them, and I was right there. I was at the bat, and he's stealing home, and I get out of the way, and he touches home plate, and the ump, me, Corbin, and the pitcher and the catcher, we are all sitting there waiting for a call, and the umps, and I'm like, Corbin, touch home plate, and he gets underneath the tag again, and the ump's like, no, he's out, and we're like, ooh, and then Corbin, like a week later, he sends me pictures. He's like, what's this?
He just spams your DMs. Just
Yes.
just
Tough
that
scene.
over and
He's
over
like,
and over and
he's
over and
like,
over.
he's safe in a group chat, and then Cam and Clay comes out and says facts.
Cayman, who didn't want to come on this podcast.
Yeah.
Half
He's
the
out
team
there right
didn't-
now.
He's out there right now.
Half of the team didn't want to come. on.
I know. You got a bunch of quiet guys
Yeah,
on your team.
prop-
or
props.
just people who don't want the camera.
Yeah. Props to
Well,
you guys.
we all knew Corbin wants the camera because he's Corbin.
Let's go. Okay, last question. When you guys are playing games, what do you want to hear from your parents and the people in the stands? Do you want to hear anything from them? Do you listen to it at all? Do you hear it? Like what do you hear now, and what do you want to hear?
I think the parents are okay, whatever they say, if it's just not negative. Like if it's like I don't even necessarily want to hear like negative to other teams,
Mhm.
just because I just don't think that anybody wants to have the environment to play baseball with people criticizing them in the stands.
Yeah. And I just don't like
Perfectly said.
I don't like the parents are like, no, you have to do this, like coaching from the stands, and like I block out like most of them when I'm at the bat and on the field, but
Your dad too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I block him out a lot, especially when he's coaching me in Little League. But I just don't like coaching fans. Like they can cheer me on and stuff, but I just don't want to get yelled at and coached by them when I have my own two coaches on the team.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's a reasonable request.
Yes.
That's a reasonable request.
And that's like we've seen the history of that. I've seen it. I don't know about these two.
Probably
I-
My pleasure. Last year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh yeah.
we'll edit that too.
Yeah. Bleep out the name.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry that you guys sometimes have to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's tricky sometimes as your moms and dads, and I'm saying this because I definitely did that when I was a younger coach. Sometimes we get so fired up and we want you to be successful that like it comes out in a really poor way. Which I want to give you guys credit for being able to say that and know that like people are going to listen. You know, like people are going to listen, and I think it's incredible that you guys are brave enough to say that, because sometimes being able to say something and tell an adult like this isn't the thing that I want is like, it's a little scary, you know, because they're adults.
Yeah.
But like adults are just people. The only difference between you guys and us is we're just older. That's it. But you'll figure that out later.
You want to end the same way we ended the other group?
Oh, what I don't even remember what we did.
All right. Everybody, your favorite thing about Driveline?
Oh, yes.
And one thing, if you could change one thing, what would you change? And you could be totally honest here. We actually want this feedback from you guys.
Okay. My favorite thing's probably seeing like coming in and seeing all the jerseys on the wall and like of them will be pros. That's really cool to see in an environment that pros worked out in. But one thing we could change is letting the kids like get autographs from the players. Like this, it's not every day that you go to a game and you get an autograph. And he's right next to you, like 20 feet away.
You want to see if you can get autographs from the MLB guys here? Is that what you're saying? Am I understanding
Yeah.
correctly?
When they come in.
Yeah, like Lars
Okay.
Newbar and in Ottawa here, and Connor's like no autographs though, and no pictures. I don't know. You don't get that close to an MLB player that someone you look up to every day.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, there's a decent chance that you're bench pressing on the same bench press that those guys used. So you got something that's better than an autograph.
Your butt is sat on the same bench as they.
That's
they
right.
butt.
That's
They're in
right.
the same cage. All
There you
right.
go.
That's right. You've touched the same hit track screen. Corbin, go ahead.
I would say the number one thing that I like is just going in there and seeing everybody in like such a good mood and just playing baseball and having fun.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd change, would be brutally honest, is you know what like that big storage area is with all like the boxes in it and stuff. If you could change that into like a mini field, like for fielding and stuff.
Corbin, I'm going to send this to our CEO. Lord Business. Corbin, Lord Business.
Once
you guys
again,
have been
did not
appointed.
pay him to say that. That was just.
Did not orchestrate this. Hideaki, what do you got?
I mean, like, yeah, kind of like Corbin, like just coming in, seeing everyone in a good mood. Also, like, just having like the facility itself, like, instead of like going outside and like, you know, having like all the machines and stuff that you do,
Sure.
and like have like multiple cages.
Yeah. Anything you would change? Anything. Different
playing more
colored
games-
jerseys,
playing
like
more games while like doing the weights, lifting, like lifting games.
playing more games in HP.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because we're not doing anything right now, and it's boring. But I mean, it's not boring, but like, you know,
Because you're just lifting.
Because you're just
Yeah,
lifting.
It's just lifting.
Yeah.
Like it would be better if we had like games and stuff.
Yep, for sure.
Can I add something on real quick?
Please
Real
do.
quick, the only thing that I'll say is weightlifting gets a lot more fun when those weights start to go up. That's the cool part. Go ahead,
And you get
Corbin.
to show off all the
The
girls.
muscles start to get big.
Yeah.
I was big fan of pinstripe uniforms last year.
Oh,
I was a-
Oh, those.
Hey,
those
Come on,
Okay,
Buster.
shots.
Come
I've
on,
heard this
Buster.
from more than one person.
They are really nice. I really want them. But if they were Nike brand, those would be so fun.
Okay, so they were nice last year. The jerseys were sweet, but they're thick and they're awful on turf in 100 degrees. Black on black, that was not cool.
All right, how about I let you guys design the jerseys for next year?
We should
Bet.
get a
I
city.
thought
that.
We should get City Connect jerseys like the pros do. Like we're orange team. We should get orange jerseys.
Orange
Like
jerseys.
Jeremy
Astros.
shows up with his
The
orange,
full driveline
with his
orange.
hat.
like
With
what we
my
did.
dress like a traffic cone hat? Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have like an orange uniform with like white pants. Yeah, that looks so cool.
Feels like that would end up looking kind of Miami-ish,
Miami.
Yeah.
Miami's fire.
which is I'm fine with that. Get one of those big gold chains for
Yeah.
whoever hits
Yeah.
a
Well,
tank.
Our tank motto is so if like we score, whoever comes across the plate, we come in, we have like a nice bat and we put stickers on it and we call it the limbo bat. And you have
Props
the
to
limbo.
James for
That's
creating that.
James's
Yeah,
idea.
James.
Me and James were like, we need like a celebration, and he's like, let's do a limbo, and I'm like, okay, and
Yeah.
he comes in and he puts like we have like stickers that say limbo bat on with a bunch of drive-on stickers.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's really fun.
The limbo
That's
bat's great.
Yeah.
All right. We've hit our time limit. I need you guys to go home, eat a dinner,
Yep.
do your homework, get good sleep.
Okay.
We appreciate you guys. I'm so proud of how different your team is this year, which is just a credit to your guys' hard work. Right? Like you guys are putting in the time and the effort, and you're seeing the results on the field. We love it. We love you guys. Very, very proud. That's all I got. Okay, we'll see you guys later. All right, so we're back, round 3 of the Academy Player Podcasts. If there is ever a reason for brevity, it would be training a bunch of 14-year-olds for 2 hours and then inviting them in a small confined space with you. So,
With not enough ventilation.
yeah, with not enough ventilation, like a legit closed room. So what did we talk about the first time we did this? We said, for our people that have now joined us, Henry, Eli, Lincoln. Apparently saying their names is cause for
Lots
chatter.
of giggling.
So I'll direct this directly at Eli and HT and Link. Do you guys remember what your PRs were at the end of last year?
Or hitting or
Either.
throwing. I think throwing it was like 58.
It's not.
Swift.
At the beginning of last year?
Get
Yeah, it was
closer
like
to the mic.
58.
It was like 58.
It was 58. Or it was either 58 or 59.
Yeah, because you're up like some preposterous number and even in mocap.
Yeah, I think so. I think it went from like 58 to like 71.
HT, what do you got?
Mine was probably maybe 52, 53. Now it's 71.
Okay.
Last time I capped.
Like 65,
Where are you at now?
like 70.
Right. So we talked about this a little bit because we just got out of the weight room. What's the path to continue to make those numbers get bigger?
Lift big.
Lift hard.
And how often?
Not every day.
Lift hard.
So Lincoln, I'll put you on the spot a little bit. With love. Do you want to play college ball?
Yeah.
Like a lot?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
I know you're a big Vandy guy. So is that kind of that dream of like being able to go play at like a really high level? Is that the reason why you try to like do something every single day?
Yeah.
So do you understand what super compensation is?
No.
Okay.
You mean Connor's example?
Oh,
didn't-
yeah. Sort of.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got to introduce stimulus, right? Whether that's weightlifting, hitting, throwing, or whatever. The way we get better is through this part, the recovery part, right? And if we neglect the recovery part, we're just not going to get as many gains. So I think it's just, I'm not putting you on the spot. I love you. But the tricky thing, I think, for a lot of kids is that like they really want it really bad. And if you want it really bad, there's kind of that constant, I don't want to say pressure, but like that feeling like I got to do something, I got to do something, I got to do something. And it's tough to understand that sometimes the thing you need to do is like actually give your body like rest, right? It's tough. What else did we talk about the first time we did this thing? Training with data. What if I took all the HitTrax machines away? Would you like it?
No.
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 Actually, I think it'd be kind of good. Or well, not good, but like I feel like instead of just trying to hit PRs every time, we'd like be able to actually like try and hit the ball a little bit more. Or like like line drives and stuff, and instead of trying to like if there was just like an exit velo thing and we could just see how far or how hard it was, I think that could be good too.
That's a good point.
Because we could see how hard we hit it for line drives, but we wouldn't try and like hit PR for distance and every time and stuff. Because we also when we hit, I feel like we take a lot of time getting reps when we look back at the thing. And I feel like we waste time sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a
Yeah.
but that's a boomer thing that like old people like me bitch about when kids like you are like trying to do hitting. Well, you're taking their guys off the HitTrax. Blah, blah, blah. But that's a good point. But a good point. So let me ask you this: at what point in the year does it make sense to really focus on the PRs?
Off season, or off season. Because in the season, I feel like you want to get better for games and stuff, and try and do what you can to win. Instead, and off season, you could actually like try and get better and hit PRs and get stronger.
So then, when we get into competition, what's the shift?
What do you mean competition?
When we're playing
when we get
games.
into games. What
Sorry,
do we, when we
that's
get
a good
into
question.
games, what do we want to play at when we get into games?
Focus more. What do you mean like where? Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean where to play at?
What level do we want to play at when we get into games? Do we want to play at our 100% level?
High,
every time we're in games?
high competition, high 80 or 100, depending on the situation. Actually, Depending on the situation.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So in terms of like the objective, if the PR isn't the objective, and we take away all the HitTrax machines, if there was no technology in the facility, how would you know that you did well?
We wouldn't.
Well,
A barrel.
right? No.
He's right.
But how do we know what a barrel is? What's a barrel?
When you hit. When you feel like you hit it hard.
When you feel like you hit it hard, right?
You don't know how hard you hit it without it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's okay. I mean, we don't have technology on the field, but we know we get barrel sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Same idea. That's fine. That's fine.
You know how I know you guys love the hit tracks as much as you do?
Let's look back at it.
No, because when we're in games, when you hit a ball really hard, all of you try to figure out what distance you hit it at. And that is only because of the hit tracks units.
Yeah. We asked this question earlier, so I'll open it just to the people who weren't here for the first one for round one.
You took off the sunglasses.
If
Got to.
Got you darkening.
I mean, you don't really want to be an indoor sunglasses guy, unless you're
Blind.
sure. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this, for you three that weren't here for the first section, what's the thing that you like the most? Like the number one thing that you like most about the program? And then what's one thing that you might want us to change?
So my number one thing I like about the program is Nate Mobley.
Bro.
Then the number one thing I want you guys to change, I don't really know, because it's like I haven't.
Mobley real quick though.
Well, yeah, because that's like an obvious answer. But I think that like for like I don't know, because I just don't have that same insight that like the staff does, if that makes sense. Because I'm like the student, and then you guys are like the teacher.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
That's fair. But like, if there's
if there's
one thing that you want to get better at that you don't think we do well enough at,
fielding, definitely fielding.
Okay.
Yeah. Adding on, my favorite thing about Driveline is probably the plyometrics and how we use them and how we get better by using them. And I think we should not focus a lot more on fielding, but focus on fielding and not making as many errors as we do. Because errors hurt us a lot during those one-run games that we could have made the out, and he ends up scoring.
says the person who made 0 errors last week. The only one on the team.
It's also
Wait. Oh, my favorite thing is that we're like really data driven, and that's a good thing.
What do you
because
mean?
like
Extend on that topic, please.
some teams like just pick like the big players, and then when that
wasn't it. I think we're.
and then we will get bigger as time goes on, and we'll eventually be better than them.
So without naming a team specifically, yeah. I mean, I can, but it's fine. But
keep it in.
yeah, without naming a team specifically, we did have a recent experience where we played a team that we saw at the end of last summer. We had the experience recently when we played a team last summer, and they were a good team, right? But they had some stuff I think that was kind of in excess of what we had in terms of skill. And then we saw them again recently, and that was not the case. So I'm curious for you guys, like what does it feel like when you see that change in what's a relatively like short amount of time?
wait, guys.
I mean, do you like it? Does it make you want to work
Makes me
harder?
want to work harder and get better than them, and
Does it make you feel good for the work that you've already put in?
sort of. But I want to put more work in to beat them instead of losing.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I get that you guys are obsessive about the win-loss thing. It's good. It's good and it's healthy. Mostly because I think you guys are aware that the skill stuff that you've got right now should translate to wins. The one thing that I will tell you is that the way that we train might not provide like immediate validation of that approach, but we're starting to see that over like this last, like that thing we just talked about, right? We saw a team last year on a smaller field that was better than us. We saw them again on a big field, and that gap like got real small, right? They're not going to change the way that they do their thing. We are going to continue to change, and stuff like adding in more fielding is part of that equation. It's part of building out that system. All right. Do any of you people who haven't said anything yet, but like popped off about how much you were going to talk on the podcast, would you like an opportunity to do that right now?
Literally,
And
yeah.
like, really,
I never said anything about
goes
saying
down and then like have a spike.
That was you. Say it here.
Oh,
Ask the question.
I think people think progress is supposed to be linear and it's just gonna keep going up, but progress really goes up and down, and there's multiple different spikes to it. Like you could do good and then bad, but then you could get better and then you could get worse, and then there's just multiple different things
Well,
of progress.
I think by getting worse, you get better because you learn off of like what you did bad, right?
That's 100% part of it.
Yeah.
Get punched in the face, punch it back.
100% part of it. I mean, you gotta be able to. You gotta be a little brave to put yourself through that, right? Like sometimes making errors or losing games or not feeling like you could do your best, like it hurts. It hurts. The trick is to understand that like the most important thing that you do there is how you respond. And again, I'm going to keep coming back to this example. That team that we saw at the tail end of last year, run ruled us, right? Right. I mean, it was a beatdown, and that's okay. The way that we played them in that first game this year was not that. Like it's, I mean, fifth game in 6 days, and you guys still hung with them. And I'm very confident that as the summer plays on, that like we're going to give them the business. Okay. It's coming up on my time that I need to go eat some dinner.
Let's go. You wanted to talk. Come on. You said all this
Colby,
stuff.
come
on.
Just say something.
Okay.
All right.
Colby, just say it into the mic.
Colby, you're gonna regret it.
We're not live. We're not live, so it doesn't matter. It's
You're gonna
kind of just like us.
Say
right now.
you wanted to tell the story. Tell the story.
Colby, they can
Come on.
I'll tell a story about you unless you're going to tell your story.
Tell your story.
No, Colby, just tell your story. Just tell your story. Come on.
Oh, stop. Actually, I don't know.
You're good. You're good.
So when I first came to Driveline, it was during like the off season. I had a little league shoulder, right? And little league shoulder is like when your growth plates split apart.
We know it. Go ahead.
Anyways, it was like really bad. I couldn't throw. Like if I threw like 30 pitches, I was probably out for a month. But I came to Driveline, made it all better. Now I threw the game. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
I'll provide some additional color.
I suck at this.
Colby was, like a lot of kids, a very good young pitcher, right? And one of the problems sometimes is that when you're really good at something like pitching, coaches are going to play you in that position more, which leads to more workload, right? You guys kind of understand that we've talked about that enough, right? And when you're young, there's like only so much of that workload that you can tolerate. So what we did with Colby is what we do with everybody is act with care and consideration about the way that we distribute workload. And again, I'm more than happy to gas any of you guys up, but I'll gas up Colby because last weekend he went CG 10 punchies, 11. Yeah.
How many walks?
Like 2.
0.
No, not
0.
No,
Big old
hit
zero.
by pitches though.
Big
hit
old
by
zero.
pitches.
I got well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a drive line. If you're a drive line guy, you're going to hit some dudes every once in a while. It's just part of
You
it.
only hit one dude. You only hit one dude.
It was a hell of a performance. You looked dominant out there, and it was really, really fun to watch, and we were really proud of you. Okay. We got anything else?
Anything we want to add?
I'm up for whatever you want to do.
tell my joke.
Yes, say
Okay.
it.
No, you got to come here. Switch with Lincoln. Come here.
Come up to the mic. Come on.
Right here. Switch with Lincoln.
I'm not good at storytelling.
Okay.
Which one should I do? The
All
deer
of
one?
them. All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Okay,
Got it.
Okay.
What do you call a deer that has glowing eyes?
I don't know, Danny. What?
I have no idea.
And on that note, we'll see if we end up doing this again. Like I said, this may very well maybe the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just because I have the opportunity to say it on the internet and it will live forever. I love you kids. We're very, very proud of you. I'm very happy that you're here. And I'm also very happy that the way that your culture is starting to shift. You guys are starting to get a little bit more serious because you understand that like very good things can happen if we continue to like work the way that we do. I like that you guys are putting that pressure on each other to do that. I would offer that you're going to get more buy-in if you do it from a place of love rather than criticism. Hey man, I want us to be consistent about this because I know that collectively we can get what we want. Not pointing names, calling fingers.
No, you said it. You said it. We're not editing it.
Damn it.
Pointing names and calling fingers.
I might be slightly dyslexic, guys. Okay, that's all we got for this one. I think we will maybe do another one of these team podcasts. Maybe not.
We'll have to. The problem is we brought these guys on, whether other people in the gym, and now multiple people want to get on. So we'll have other.
Yeah, we'll do it more.
We'll
do more.
bring on other.
On the world's most dangerous youth baseball podcast.
Yes.
We'll see you guys later.